I'm going to briefly talk about this because I just don't care. I really don't care. People were asking, oh, what about the Republican health care bill? I don't know. I know nothing about it. And this is exactly why I know nothing about it. This is exactly why I don't pay attention to it, because the Republicans fucked up. They fumbled the ball. Let me explain to you. I'm not joking. Haha, if I were king. No, I'm being deadly serious. If I was president and I had both the House and the Senate on my political party, I would gather everyone together and I would say, we're not fucking this up. We have to be on the same page. We have to have good legislation that is going to repeal Obamacare. And that could be it right there. We repeal it. It goes back to whatever. And then we come up later on with an... There would be time and effort put together up front, consulting with doctors and insight and say, okay, what are we going to replace it with? What is it going to be? Vouchers, whatever. Heck, even single payer, whatever. But there would be one bill. And then every Republican or whoever my political party would be at the time would vote for it, and it would pass. And that would happen in, I would say, the first 3 weeks. Certainly the repeal, we could do that in a couple days, or what goes on in place of it, because of various problems with the healthcare industry, of which I'm not going to delve into. That warrants some additional bills to be passed. But simply repealing Obamacare, that would have been happening in about 48 hours of me being president. Once everyone was sworn in, meeting, here's what we're going to do. And if you motherfuckers aren't on board with this, well, there might be some polonium in your coffee. You never know. Putin might come for a visit. Jeez, we can make it look like the Russians did that. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. I mean, we're 2 months fully into the new administration, and it's, here we'll read it. The specter of another government shutdown is emerging on Capitol Hill among concerns that Republican leaders who failed to unite the party last week on an Obamacare overhaul will likely struggle to finalize a spending package before the April 28th deadline. And like terrorist attacks in Europe, I don't get excited about the prospects of the specters of government shutdowns. I have zero fucks left to give. This is not news, but it is an additional bit of evidence or proof that the Republicans are not. Trump may be you may hate him, you may dislike him for whatever, and many legitimate reasons. I understand why people don't like Trump. I understand. He's the only non-politician out there, though, right now. And the one thing I do have a little bit more hope than the average person, it's very rare for me to be hopeful, is that he is an executive. He is not a politician, and you may not like that he's brash and crude and forthright and forward, but there is no ambiguity as to what this man thinks and stands for. None. He'll tweet it out at 3 a.m. Like a drunk girl confessing her love for you. The truth will come out with Trump, but he don't need no booze to help with that. He's got Twitter at 3 a.m., so you'll know. You'll know. But aside from him, no, we still have to deal with a legislature, thankfully, separation of powers. But that legislature is headed up by predominantly old rhino Republicans. And even if they are not rhino, there are conservatives. Again, Republicans, people who are conservative that run for office are dumb. Because if you're a smart conservative or libertarian or free marketer, you go and work in the private sector and make a lot more money. Whereas if you're a really smart leftist, that's what you're supposed to do, is go work in government. This is why the Democrats run circles around the Republicans. Democrats, at least in office, at least the politicians, are infinitely smarter, more cunning, more clever. They have more guile, and they have less morals. I'll grant them that too. So they can just run circles around these fucking retards. But the Republicans in office, and not just Congress, but the Republicans in any government institution, are statistically likely to be the rejects that couldn't get. They're the marching band of everything that goes into a football game. I mean, there's even more analogies we can. I'm thinking about. There's a lot of analogies. The real football players, the real athletes, are the ones making money, making a living, raising families, having kids, enjoying life. Those are the ones with the hustlers, the entrepreneurs, and not necessarily millionaires, but the ones actually going out and living life. They are in demand and they are employed by the private sector. They are on the field. The cheerleaders which are dumber than a box of rocks, are your Laura Southerns, your, there was another one. I picked on Millennial Millie, but there was like this really Leanne Adrew. Is that it? Leanne Andrew, Alex Jones. I didn't know he had two gals. Leanne McAdoo. Leanne McAdoo. For crying out loud. Hang on. Yeah. All right. Leanne McAdoo. With the biggest set of cans in the entire non-leftist world. Her and the Millennium Minis and whoever else. They are the cheerleading team. They are not vital for the team to win. Matter of fact, they're not doing any of the heavy. They're just cheering on. But if they were to actually go on the field and try and take on the leftists, they would get the asses kicked. And I know, I've been down this road before. I'm sure some of them are smart. I'm sure they are. But they're not. They are not the originators. They're not being hired for that. They're hired to wave their pom-poms and do that. Now, the rejects, the complete morons, the genuinely retarded, the below 100 IQ people, the ones that I see when I go to Republican meetings, which is far and few between because I can't stand the stupidity and the incompetence, those guys are the marching band. They go out and they run for public office. They get into Congress, city council, county government, whatever. The people who are not good enough to actually be the athletes on the field, nor pretty enough to be cheerleaders, they go into marching band. And that is the Republican Party, the proper. Those are the politicians. Right? And so it is not surprising to me that the Republican politicians have fucked this one up, as they always have, because you are dealing with incompetent people. Very incompetent people. We should not take things for granted, especially after what happened last week. Oklahoma GOP Representative Tom Cole told Fox News, "The last thing we need is a self-inflicted crisis. There frankly isn't much time." Voters largely blamed congressional Republicans for the last shutdown in 2013 when they engaged in a budget standoff with Senate Democrats and President Obama over Obamacare funding. And they collapsed. Much of the federal government shuttered from October 1 to 16 during the fight driven by the Tea Party sage Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, and the Conservative Heritage Foundation, both influential in sinking House Speaker Paul Ryan's Obamacare overhaul bill. To avoid a repeat this year, Congress is eyeing a short-term measure known as a continuing resolution. This could bundle the roughly 12 spending bills to get 12 spending bills. Jesus Christ. Despite Ryan's pledging last year to try and end that practice, Cole, a member of the House Appropriations Committee, which has jurisdiction over the spending bills that fund several agencies, blah, 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 blah. Do you understand why I don't pay attention to politics anymore? Do you understand? Nothing changes. Nothing. Only thing worth paying attention to in politics right now is foreign affairs, if there's an attack or something like that, and Trump. Because the only thing different that's going to happen will be Trump. Maybe you could say the social justice warriors over the next 4 years, watching these mid-age to older millennials as they're dumped out in the real world and they don't have any skills. I'd be curious to see what they do if they become extreme, if there's terrorist attacks, stuff like that. But by and large, the only thing worth paying attention in politics right now is our president of the United States, Donald Trump. The rest of it, Republican or Democrat, there's no reason to watch it. There's just none. Don't get your hopes up about Obamacare being repealed. In a year and 9 months, the Democrats will take over Congress because the Republicans will fuck it up. They will have, and I do not believe the Republicans will ever get the Congress back in the next 2 more elections that would occur, midterm elections. So it's 2 years, and then the Republicans will have squandered the chance. I don't think Trump will get reelected unless the Democrats are stupid enough to run someone as bad as Hillary Clinton. Who knows? They might even choose a white guy. They might go with not vag this time around because reasons. But the Republicans have 1 year and 9 months to pass shit. They have already wasted out of 24 months 3, that's 1/8. Did I do the math right? 3 out of 4. 3 months they've pissed it out of 2 years before the midterms. They lose it. 12.5%. 1/8 of the time has already been squandered dicking around, and not one fucking thing has been done. If Cappy was president, there would be a flat sales tax. The welfare state would be handed down to the states and local governments. Social Security would be handed down to the states and local governments. What else would we have done? We have eliminated the corporate income tax, among all the other taxes. We would just have a flat sales tax. There would be a balanced budget amendment with a 10-year move towards it provision for reasons I'm not going to delve into now. And Obamacare would have been repealed. And I don't really think it's Trump on this. I do have to say 95% of the blame are the slow-ass, dumb, retarded, missing a couple chromosome Republicans who couldn't make it in the private sector, who aren't on the football field playing football, and they are not pretty enough to be cheerleaders. It is the marching band Republicans who are fucking this shit up with their... I had to show you how. Let me show you what the average Republican, not the dumb, not the smart, but just the average Republican politician. This is something I'll talk about that's germane here. I forget the guy's name, but a state legislature in Minnesota. He's a Republican, and they have, or had, for the 20 years I've been in Minnesota, this stupid, I mean dumber than squirrel nut stupid, debate about whether or not liquor stores should be open on Sundays. This has been a debate probably longer than when I've been here. The same thing, you can't sell cars in Minnesota on Sundays because these good fucking Norwegians with their fucking whatever fucking worthless culture came with them, even though I find out I'm Scandinavian. This is something they go, you can't sell cars or booze on Sunday for reasons. Now, the solution that all of you are saying right now is, what fucking right is it of the governments to legislate when liquor stores and car stores, let alone any business, can and cannot be open for business? What right is that? Now, you would also then go to speculate or theorize or observe, then wait a minute, I don't see why Democrats would be against this either. So the Republicans should be for this on free market principled grounds. The Democrats would be for it because it's vice, and cars they'd be a little bit indifferent about. But booze, hey, they in other words, it's not taking any money out of there. It doesn't affect unions. It doesn't affect their teacher parasites. It doesn't affect academia, and it doesn't affect their parasitic constituents. Sure, all right, hey, you know what? They'd probably be for it because booze, that way their loser welfare constituents could buy booze at the liquor store, at the trailer park or the ghetto or the barrio. So the Democrats would be for it too. You say, well, what's the holdup? Well, be it the Democrats or the Republicans, I think it was a lot of the conservative Christian-type Republicans. It finally passed this year because in part of a speech this one Republican legislator gave. He says, I used to be against liquor sales on Sunday. Till a man came in. He had long hair, leather jacket, some piercings. And this guy's like the fucking swipplest swippily that ever swippled. And he says, how is buying booze on Sunday, me buying booze on Sunday, going to affect you? And then I realized I was wrong this entire time. And I'm like, wait a minute. You are in the state legislature. You have been there for a while. And you are such a rookie league dipshit Republican, political philosopher, that you couldn't understand this concept of freedom and the right for... You're on the pro-capitalist side, the free market side, where the government shouldn't be intervening, and you couldn't understand. It took some kid to come in with a really freshman year, college level, late night dormitory, we think we're so smart we're going to solve the world's problems because we all agree with one another type of 19-year-old discussions we have in the dorm room. It took that low level of intelligence of an argument to get you to realize that the government sticking its nose in with liquor stores when they should not be open, that's none of your business, and that's stupid. And so I'm like, this is how much time have the legislatures in the state wasted on this bullshit? That what really pissed me off. I'm like, you guys, really? This is the biggest thing you got going on? This keeps coming up. Why are we wasting our time with this? But that shows you he's neither dumb nor smart. But that shows you how dumb the average Republican politician is. And you got, 51 of these fuckers in the Senate? And then, who knows, 200 odd, whatever we got in the House. You think these guys are going to do something with Obamacare? You think these dipshits, who again could not hack in the private sector and play football, nor are pretty enough to be the cheerleaders, you think the marching band is going to head up very important issues like the national debt, tax policy, let alone have the balls or the gall? At least the left has balls. The left has guts, man. They will pass through any fucking shit, as evidenced by Obama. They'll do it. They'll ramrod it through. And these ballless, wimpy, styrofoam-spined Republicans, oh, man, let's just get along. Oh, yeah, I don't know if we should have liquor sales on Sunday. That's what you're dealing with. That's why I don't care anymore. There's a piece of me that would desperately love to go into the Republican Party. I've said this before. I have an idea to replace the Republican Party, and it would work. Then there's a piece of me that's like, I wouldn't mind running for governor of Minnesota, or running for a Senate seat, or running for Congress. And the reason why is I'm 100%, well, not 100% confident, but I'm reasonably confident that I would win. Because like Trump, the American people are sick and tired of fucking, what is it called? It's you want a lying saint or a truthful sinner. They are sick and tired of the lying saints, and they want a truthful sinner. And I am a truthful sinner. I will come in, I will shoot from the hip, I will tell people what's what. I'd be more than entertaining as fuck, and that's about half the reason I'd like to run for office, because it'd be entertaining as fuck. It'd be fun. Then it dawned on me, holy shit, that would be real work. I imagine you gotta wake up at like 8. Then we have to go to the office. You gotta listen to people. Your clients are the American people. Oh, the dumbest group of fucktards there ever was. And then my coworkers are a bunch of either dipshit dumb Republicans or skeeving, snidling, scummy, parasitic, leftist communist fucks. Although they'd be fun to fuck around with. I would call them the Communist Party because that's why I could have fun with it. But then I thought, oh wait, do you know how much work that would be? You know how much I'd have to give up to do that? There's no way. No way. I got too good of a life now. There's no way I'd ever run for governor or anything like that. But that's not going to happen. Because once again, people in the private sector, I'm on the football team. I'm having a good time playing football. Maybe I'll go home and bang one of those cheerleaders. You never know. But the fuck if I'm going to go play in that marching band. Because, see, I'd be like Matt Baldoni. I'd have to be the head. I'd be like, he plays guitar, but I'd be playing saxophone or something like that. No, marching band is uniform, conformity. At least in the Republican side of things. No one person stands out. No solos. And that'd be the only reason to go into the marching band. That's not going to happen. That's not worth it. I want to go play. I'm having much more fun playing football. And that's why, unless there was a concerted effort at the top of the Republican Party, which again is headed up by the lowest ranked retards of the marching band world, they're not going to go on a recruitment phase. That'd be the best thing that the Republican Party could do, is they come up with an entire division to go and recruit good quality people to run for office. Say, we want you to run for office. We want you to run for office. Not who's the most connected on District 13 who's been here and they have the pulls with the string. I know somebody personally who's in local politics, and the amount of petty bullshit crap that goes on and how they currently select. Oh, bullshit. That's why you get stupid people. That's why Obamacare isn't repealed yet, and we're already 12.5%. We've already wasted 12.5% of a Republican majority Congress and a Republican president. Nothing has actually changed. No real major laws. I know there's some decrees, and Sessions just cut all the funding to the sanctuary states. That's good. But there's no wall. There's no mass deportation. There's no deportation army. Old Clary would have Operation Wetback too. Look it up. It's not a racist term. Operation Wetback. That was a real, not Operation Wetback 2. That's what I would do. That's what President Clary. That would have been, once we did recruiting and training, yeah, we'd be rounding up the recruiting and the training by now. And we'd have about 1 million, it'd be a jobs program too, about 1 million person army of ICE. Remember that? Imagine that. 1 million army of ICE agents. That'd be. But that's why I don't watch that's why I don't care anymore. I just want to point it out. It doesn't matter what the news is about. The news is that the Republicans failed. The news is that this is nothing new. The news is that the news people decided that this was worth covering the news because, Republicans fail. Man fills up gas tank in New York City. Details at 10. Republicans fumble the ball again. Marching band still full of virgins. Baldoni denied opportunity to solo at marching band football game. So choose your poison. I mean, I got better shit to do in my life than read through politics. All right, let's go and do the rest of the sponsors here. Asshole Consulting, if you need me to tell you what to do so you don't fuck up your life, go to assholeconsulting.com and I'll help you.